Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's kick it off by looking at Bitcoin, currently trading at $117,702. So obviously over the past couple of days, we saw Bitcoin break out to new highs. Today, it crossed over $118,000. So everything is looking bullish here. But as I've been saying, expect volatility, and we could see Bitcoin and some of the altcoins pull back and retest support levels. This is normal. This is healthy. Nothing to panic about. So I want to make sure many of you are prepping your mindset around this because you will see sharp corrections. This is normal and par for the course, especially when you have very strong moves like we saw with Bitcoin. So if you look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, the higher time frame, we see that its RSI, the relative strength index, still has room to go before it hits that overbought zone. And the MACD is still in green. And these are the metrics and signals we've been monitoring for months, showing that the bull market was still intact. So this is a very good sign. Here, analyst Rect Capital shared an updated timeline for the bull market using Bitcoin as the measuring stick. And he says here the bull market progress is 90% completed. So we got 10% to go. So over the next 4 to 5 months, folks, we could see that blow off top, which would put us around the November in Q4. So just be prepared. And as I've been saying, if you plan to take profits, make sure you have a plan. Don't just watch the price go up. You need to know what price points you're taking the distributions at. So make sure you got that plan. Now, I know many of you are big time altcoin holders. So you want to know, when is my altcoin going to move? So the first phase is Bitcoin doing that massive strong move, starts waking up the market, right? Pulling some altcoins, and then the liquidity will start flowing throughout the large caps, small caps, and medium caps as well. And here, if we look at the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins, you can see we got a move here. That's all the altcoins excluding Bitcoin, stablecoins, and Ethereum. That's a very good sign, folks. And that's what you want to see. I know many of you hold different altcoins. You know, I have like VeChain in my portfolio, HBAR, and many others, and we're waiting for a lot of these coins to start moving. So this is a very positive sign we're seeing here. And of course, like I said, we're in a bull market. This is the start of the next bull run. It will move in phases itself. And I believe this could be a local top. We see a correction come late August, a kind of a bottoming out in September. Then the next run, October into November, blow off top. That's honestly what I'm personally anticipating. Now we have to monitor it closely to see if anything deviates, right? If anything comes up that changes the timeline. For example, the tariff uncertainty crash pushed back the timeline for markets. Usually markets start rallying April into May, and then sell in May, go away. And then June and so forth, we start seeing corrections into the summer. That timeline has clearly been shifted, where now we're seeing the rally in July. And we'll take it into August, early August, and then we'll have a correction as mentioned. So I hope you understand where we're at and where we're going. Now, as I mentioned, you can expect some retests and pullbacks. And here, the blockchain backer put together a chart showing potential ABC corrections from this move, but it doesn't mean it's over. It's just retesting support levels. And then you see another massive breakout. So please have this in the back of your mind. If next week Bitcoin all of a sudden goes back to test 112K or 113, whatever it is, right? And then everybody's like, oh my God, that's it. No, it will be just a healthy retest. And of course, the altcoins may follow. Now, the other confirmation we have of this bull rally starting is Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. This is clear on the charts. You can see here the dominance has fallen from around 66.4% to now 64.47%. So that's a positive sign for the markets or the crypto market. In addition, you got USDT Tether dominance breaking down as well. It is currently at 4.38. I expect it to go below 4, and a lot of this liquidity will help pump the market to higher highs. So we will continue to monitor these different metrics and signals to help us have an idea where things are going. But as mentioned, altcoins are waking up, and you just look at the XRP chart currently at $2.80. I think today it touched $2.90, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a beautiful chart, man. And I'm anticipating higher highs. I will be taking profits on XRP starting at $5. I'm not cashing out everything. I'm going to be laddering out, as I've stated many times over the past couple of years as the bull market started. And I'm hoping we can get to 8, possibly 9, 10. That's not a guarantee. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm saying it's a probability, but we don't know where the market's going to top out. So I'll start taking at 5, I'll take at 6, 7, 8, and start cashing out in phases. I hope you understand what I'm saying here, because no one can call the exact top. Now, Ethereum, a very good sign for the entire altcoin market cap is that Ethereum is also on the move, currently just below $3,000. And you can see here a nice green candle. It is back above the 200-day moving average as well. So all great signs. And if you caught my newsletter today, and if you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. It's 100% free. I shared some updated charts, especially the Elliott wave analysis for the total market cap. And you can see here, we are still on the rise. We still got ways to go. The macro fifth wave has not been completed yet, but you can see it will be completed as we head later into the year. In addition, the 4.236 extension on the Fibonacci model for the total market cap has not been completed as well. Now, a 4.236 extension takes us to about a $10 trillion market cap. I don't think that's outlandish or far-fetched. I think that's possible. Now, is it guaranteed? Of course not. Maybe it tops out at about 9 or even 8. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But based on these different charts and signals, you could potentially see that, right? So this is where we want to form our thesis and watch it closely so we know where things are headed and we can prepare accordingly. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer 1 enterprise blockchains out there. I'm very bullish on VeChain. I'm a VET token holder. I have been since 2018. They are working with many different brands and companies around the world. These companies and brands are using VeChain to build Web3 technologies. Some of the key features of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the brands and companies they work with include PwC, Walmart China, Sam's Club, BMW, Boston Consulting Group. They are also partnering with Dana White and the UFC, doing some incredible stuff. Most recently, Dana White said he bought millions of dollars of the VET token, and he's very bullish, and that was his first purchase of crypto. So VeChain doing incredible stuff, and like I said, I'm a token holder. I have been for many years before they even became a sponsor. So I'm very bullish on this project. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, we've been tracking Bitcoin spot ETF inflows, especially BlackRock's, because we've been seeing massive accumulation and incredible growth. And here's an article highlighting some of the growth. Spot Bitcoin ETFs see $1 billion of inflows as IBIT becomes the fastest fund to hit $80 billion in assets. So we've been seeing BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF outpace and breaking records of all ETFs in the history of the ETF market. We're talking all the stock ETFs, the gold ETFs. Bitcoin is breaking that, and specifically IBIT, BlackRock's version. So what do you think is happening here, folks? It's incredible. And of course, we know Bitcoin is hard capped. There's only going to be 21 million. Many Bitcoins have been lost. There's still more to be mined. So when you have this amount of buying, you have incredible supply and demand economics playing out here, which is impacting the price. So it's incredible that this has become the fastest traded, exchange traded fund to reach $80 billion. And we are seeing billions entering these Bitcoin ETFs. It's not just BlackRock. There's Fidelity and Franklin Templeton and Bitwise and many others. So incredible growth. Now, here's some news around an Ethereum Treasury company, and that is Sharplink. We've been seeing companies doing this with Bitcoin. Now they have expanded to Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. So Ethereum Foundation sells 10,000 ETH to Sharplink in first such OTC deal. The company is positioning ETH as its primary treasury reserve asset and said it plans to stake and restake the acquired ETH, effectively removing it from circulation. So for those of you who don't know, OTC means over the counter, and that is not placed in the markets like your buy and sell order. So that's why it doesn't move the market. So this is essentially, for example, if you and I met in person and you said, hey, I'm going to send you $10,000, give me X amount of Bitcoin, and I just send it to your wallet. that transaction is not captured on the open market. It doesn't affect the buying or the selling, and so forth. And OTC is how a lot of institutionals buy their coins. That's why sometimes you hear, "Hey, these guys are buying," and then people are like, "Why didn't it move the market?" Well, they bought it OTC, and sometimes they buy very small increments where you can't even know what's happening. Michael Saylor said they've done that in the past with MicroStrategy buying because he didn't want to move the market, so they bought like very small increments, and they'll do 1,000 transactions, right? So no one can tell who bought it or what's happening. It just looks like a normal thing. But this is incredible what Sharplink is doing, and that's a lot of ETH they bought, man. Incredible. It looks like it's a $25.7 million OTC deal. And this is, I think, the largest ETH treasury company. And their ticker symbol, because they're a publicly traded company, is SBET, SBET. And they're going to be staking some of this ETH. So that's incredible stuff. Here's another example with a Solana Treasury company. So Sol, NASDAQ listed firm, secures $200 million in financing with over 150 million tied to Solana Treasury strategy. So Upexi, a Tampa-based consumer brands company listed on NASDAQ, announced Friday it has secured approximately $200 million in new financing through a combination of equity and convertible note offerings. A portion of the proceeds will support Upexi's existing operations, while the rest will be used to grow its cryptocurrency treasury with a special focus on Solana. It's incredible, folks. And my hope is that this doesn't form some sort of bubble. And I'm very curious to see how these companies handle the bear market once it comes, because even if the bear market is not as brutal as we've seen in the past in the crypto market, you know there's going to be a pullback because we've seen markets move in cycles. They follow liquidity. So if liquidity is on its way down, like it was after the Q4 rally into January, the markets will follow. So these are things to keep in mind. Now, look at this. Tether to discontinue USDT, which is its stablecoin, on 5 blockchains to refocus resources. So it looks like some blockchains that may not be getting as much adoption, Tether is not supporting USDT on it anymore. And this includes OmniLayer, Kusama, Bitcoin Cash SLP. I don't know what the hell that is. And they also halted on EOS and Algorand. So this makes sense. This is normal. I think you can see Circle do the same thing, that blockchains that are not getting as much adoption and there's not much transactions, people are not using the USD coin on those blockchains, they're going to shut it off. So that makes sense. So there's nothing crazy here. Now, folks, final item here. As many of you know, next week will be Crypto Week, where Congress, specifically the House, will be voting on the stablecoin bill. And if that passes, it goes straight to President Trump for signatures to be put into law. And you also have the market structure, which will be voted on, and the anti-CBDC bill. If those pass, they will go to the Senate. So next week is a very big week. And if you caught my interview with Congressman French Hill, who's the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, he broke it all down. So if you haven't seen it, folks, go watch it. It's going to be a historic week, folks. It's very significant. And man, if stablecoin legislation passes and it goes to Trump, I think that could be a catalyst that sends this market bananas, because I think mainstream media is going to pick up on it. You may see right away a lot of banks and folks come out and say, okay, legislation has passed. We're ready to launch our stablecoins. You'll have the media frenzy. This could certainly be a catalyst, but we'll have to wait and see. But next week will be huge. I will be tuning in. I'll bring you all the details. If there is any of the hearings that we are able to live stream, I'll be streaming it, because it's going to be significant, especially around stablecoins. And as I mentioned, David Sachs had highlighted the updated timeline for the crypto market structure. And as mentioned, the market structure, if passed in the House, goes to the Senate, and they have a September timeline. So I hope you see how this major catalyst, the market structure, is a much more bigger and influential bill than the stablecoin bill, going towards late Q3, right? The start of the next final blow off top. See the timing of these things, right? It's very interesting. These are things I'm paying attention to, and that's why I'm sharing with you. And we'll be watching closely, because we're not only looking at charts, we're looking at on-chain data, we're looking at the macro, we're looking at what the governments are doing. You got to look at all these factors to get a full lay of the land. You don't want to have tunnel vision for one item. You can't just look at legislation. Oh yeah, I'm going to move with what Congress is. You can't do that, right? You can't just look at the on-chain data. What are the whales doing? You can't just look at the global liquid. You got to look at it all together to get an idea of where things are headed. So folks, again, check out my interview with Congressman Frenchhill. It's a great one, and it'll give you all the details you need to know about next week. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto. Folks, I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.